We've been waiting for almost 9 years to bring you this video, and we've flown all the way around the world. So here we go. Roll the intro. Mabuhay! I'm Matthew.
And I'm Marielle.
This is Marielle, and we are M&M Travels, the Philippines. And we are coming to you right now, not live, but from Manila, Philippines. We have waited, as we said, almost 9 years.
Yes, 9 years.
And we have just flown all the way around the world, which was a long flight. How long was our flight?
All in all, it was 25 hours, but from LA to Manila, it was 14.
14 hours. We're waiting on, almost 15 hours. We're waiting on, today is the first day that we have not had jet lag, and we are still tired. We've been here a week.
After 3 massages.
After 3 massages and lots of sleep, we are still just now getting over the exhaustion, but that's not what we came to talk about. Our mama and papa, her parents, are on their way over for supper, and we are going to tell you our love story. How did we meet? How did we meet, sweet love?
Online.
We met online, but there's more to it than that. We have been praying. I had been married before, and I had been praying for a long time. I said, Lord, please provide me with a new wife, because I don't like to be alone. I don't do well alone. I'm the kind of guy that kind of needs to be told what to do. So anyway, I had written a prayer down specifically asking God to say, Lord, I would love a new wife in your time, in your way, even if she has to come from the other side of the earth. And I had never done any online dating. That was not my thing. And this was 9 years ago. And but I went online, and out of all the pictures on the screen, I saw one that I really liked. And it was this face right here. And I clicked on it. And for several days, that's all that happened. And what was your part of the story?
Well, I also was praying for a husband. It has been, I wrote down my prayer because it was my Nina, my godmother, who was my papa's sister, once told me that if you want God to answer a prayer, you have to be very specific. And she advised me to write it down. And so I did. I did. It was during the time when all of my friends have already been getting married, getting into the next chapter of their lives. And I was always imagining myself, even when I was younger, that I would be ending up, getting married. I didn't want to be a spinster.
A spinster. Wow, that's a term we don't use anymore.
Yeah, so I prayed, and I put down on paper the specific man that I wanted to marry. And then going back to the last chapter of what
Yes,
Matthew said.
I had also written down we had both written down the very same prayers for a spouse in the very same month. I don't remember.
You were not praying for a man.
I wasn't praying for a man like she was. Yeah, I'm not that way. But anyway, we had both written down very specifically our prayers, and we put them away. And then on what day was it? It was the
Feb 28th.
Feb 28th.
Of 2014.
Of 2014. Marielle accepted my friend request on the dating website that we were using, which no longer exists anymore. And we were both the first choice for each one of us, which is interesting in and of itself. And so we met, and I didn't even know how to use FaceTime. And we were texting back and forth, and you asked me what?
I asked you, are you using an iPhone? And well, if you're using an iPhone and I also have an iPhone, then we can do FaceTime.
And I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but if you know that I didn't know what FaceTime was 9 years ago,
And I also wanted to know that if he is the same person that was on the picture too, because you don't know.
Yeah, she didn't want to get catfished by some redneck from Arkansas. That would be a nightmare. Getting catfished from Arkansas. Can you imagine? So we have met, and she couldn't take it. You know, culturally in the Philippines, it's typical that I would have to meet her family. Well, it just so happens that she had an aunt and an uncle, Tito Pete and Tita Ava. Subscribe if you're not watching. That's just Tito Pete and Tita Ava. We love you. But we met in, Marielle flew all the way. What did you do? You flew all the way to the United States.
Yes, I did. And because we were already talking to each other for hours every day.
Every day.
So I was thinking, well, if this man is the man, then I would need to...
I'm not the man.
But I would need to make sure that this is going to be for the long haul. So I booked a ticket to the U.S. And met him, and then I also we met in Chicago.
We met in Chicago, and you introduced me.
And it was convenient because my Tito Pete and Tita Eva were.
And Karkar and Michael.
Yes.
Subscribe if you're not subscribed.
They're from Wisconsin, so they live in Wisconsin, so it was a short ride from Wisconsin to Chicago. So we were able to see each other and them see Matthew for the first time.
Yes. And
so there was like an agent.
Yes, there was an agent. That's interesting. Somebody will have to approve. And I don't know why they approved, but me and Tito Pete, we met it off right off the bat because I cooked for Tito Pete the very first time we met.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I cooked. I'm cooking for my papa tonight. So, men, if you want to win over your Filipino family, cook for them, because I cooked for him one time and we're still together 9 years later. I'm not saying that I'm that good of a cook. I'm just saying that Filipinos like food. And that's a fact, is it not, Diba?
Yes.
And so anyway, we met and we hung out in Chicago. And then what happened in the kitchen? After Tito Pete and Tita Ava approved of me.
But why don't you say it?
I'll say it. Okay, I'll tell the story. We were in the kitchen, and I'm naturally, you wouldn't know this, but I'm kind of shy. And, but, and I knew right off the bat, I knew that this was the woman that God had given to me in answer to the prayer that I had written out. And so I simply, I just sent I didn't ask her, but I sent a text message in the kitchen standing right next to Marielle. I said, honey, will you marry me? No, will you be my wife? And I looked over at her and she was just weeping and she was in tears. And then she texted me back, yes. And so we were standing next to one another, but without a conversation. I proposed over my phone, but it's the same way we met, over a phone on digital means. So we met and I proposed in Chicago and you said yes. And then everybody cried because she told her cousin Mary Carr and she told everybody else, and it became a big deal. And everybody was excited. And so we flew back to Arkansas and we were there. We had 2 weeks left in Arkansas. And we said, you know what? We're going to try to beat the system. So, well, that's not what we were thinking at the time. We weren't being sinful. But we didn't want to live in sin. So, but we knew we wanted to be married to one another. So we went to the courthouse in Little Rock, Arkansas. And on what date was it, my dear love?
June 19th.
June 19th, 2014. I want her to say it because I don't want to have to reshoot this video. We got married in the Pulaski County Courthouse in Little Rock, Arkansas, with the Justice of the Peace. And we got married and and we lived happily ever after. No, but we got married, and then Marielle had to fly back to the Philippines.
Yeah.
But she was married to me, and we were apart for 16 months.
Because I had to change my visa because I came to I went to the U.S. on a tourist visa.
Sneaky.
So for me to be able to go back, I have to be with a spouse visa, a spousal visa. So we had to process everything, and it took us 16 months.
We hired a very good lawyer. Thank you, Eric Dean. If you're watching this video, subscribe. He was, what state was he in? Connecticut? Connecticut. He was a very, very good lawyer. We hired Eric Dean, did all the paperwork, everything went through the very first time. And then, I don't even remember the date when you came back to the United States.
It was October.
October of what year?
2015.
2015. She came back to the U.S. and then we set up camp in Florida. And we were in Florida for 8 years? 7 years?
We were already here, so 2015, going on 8.
Yeah, going on 8 years. We still live in Florida, but now we have 2 homes. We have one home here in Manila, and we have a home in Florida, in Tampa, where we live. And so now we're able to go back and forth, which is a huge blessing. After all this time, we now get to come to Manila, and we get to live in Florida. And right now, it is, what is today? Today is the 16th day of May, and we're going to be here for a month, and we're having an absolutely fabulous time in the Philippines. So that's our story in brief. There may be a part 2 to this, I don't know, but we will keep posting more videos. But that's our love story. And the neat thing is, this is the part I wanted you to wait for till the end. We didn't know until after we had been together for some time that we had written out those prayers.
No.
Well, it was a bit.
It was in Chicago.
It was in Chicago. Whenever we knew that it was a confirmation of God's will for us to be together. When we were in Chicago and we looked and we had the papers in our hand that we had been praying for one another. And it's just amazing how God answers prayers, and that we're together still to this day. And I didn't set out to marry a Filipino bride. I was just looking for a wife and praying that God would use the internet to do that. But it just so happened my wife was from the Philippines, and you weren't necessarily looking for a man from the United States, especially one from Arkansas. I mean, who looks for a man from Arkansas? But for you Arkansans out there, please subscribe. Anyway, that's our love story, and we try to keep it under 15 minutes, and we have been able to do that. So we are in Las Piñas, Metro Manila, Philippines. We're going to, today we went and bought a ref, as it's called here in the Philippines, a refrigerator for the house. And so we're finally sitting down and enjoying some cool air. And her parents are fixing to come over, and I'm cooking them some good old barbecue ribs for supper. And we're going to have that with some kanin, which is rice in Tagalog. And so that's our love story. So I love my wife, and I know that she loves me, and we're very, very happy. And our goal is to retire here. And that's another part of our story to be continued. So if you like our love story, please hit that like button. It's just that little thumb right down there in the bottom. Please like, it really helps us. We're trying to boost our subscribers too, so if you would like to hear more of what we've got going on, please subscribe. We're going to be here for a month. We're fixing to go to Anilao and Cebu. We're going scuba diving, which is going to be a lot of fun. Got a lot of stuff coming up. So please, if you like, please like, and please subscribe. It would really help. It's just that button right down there. It only takes a few seconds. But thanks for paying attention to us. Thanks for liking. Thanks for all the views we've had in the last few weeks. So I'm Matthew, and this is Marielle. And from Manila, Philippines, salamat for watching our video. We love you guys. And until next time, this is Eminem Travels. We love you. God bless. Bye-bye.